Alrighty, and what is going on, everybody? We are back here tonight with the side chat. How you doing? How you doing? Hope everything is all right. Hope things are good. Right now, everybody just is basically hope you're warm because where I'm at is freaking cold. Jeez. And hopefully we get the guys into the show. Thank you once again. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are keeping warm. Hope you guys are keeping safe from the virus and everything. So I'll put an app, but first, let me go and let's see, put out my lovely mom. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Hope you guys saw a lot of people enjoy the show last night, and like I said, it was awesome. Thank y'all for giving me your time, your ears for that one. So for those who don't understand, you can go back and check it out. And you're gonna be hearing a lot of noise. I'm trying to get the guys in. All right, so let's bring the guys in right here.
Tamina Snuka versus Nia Jax. What do you think?
So basically, we got the guys in. So hope everybody doing all well. So let me introduce the guys as usual. Mr. Trip, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Hopefully, I didn't make any technical difficulties for you.
Nah, it's all right. It's all cool. But are you doing all right?
Yes, sirree. So,
all right.
Let's introduce our guests.
Yep. Kenoshi, how you doing, sir?
It's Kenoshi Abominito, and we are ruled by tyrannical clowns.
Of course. And of course, we have a person who came on last time. Basically, he's gonna be a part of the crew once in a while when he has the chance to do it. We call him Kwame Manchu. But Ivan, how you doing? All right.
Are you there?
He was there.
Hello, Georgie. No, let me stop.
Yeah.
I was about to give you a balloon.
Got you. How you doing?
Anyway,
Ivan?
How's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing good
nothing.
So
just being me, having a twisted sense of humor. You can call me Quando, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So basically, like I said, last night, of course, a lot of people was very happy about the show last night. I was surprised again. Thank you, Temple, for coming through as usual. We by the end of the show, we had about 22,000 people listening live. Thank you for that. Again, I wish you guys could go to YouTube and just subscribe. But again, humans are a creature of habit. So they can just go to what they normally do and do that. So I get that. It is what it is. But again, thank y'all for giving your time on that. But again, for those who didn't watch, because for some weird reason, also too, I don't have the crossover between the side chat and the Project Open Mic is less than 50%. So it's kind of weird. The shows are back to back each other. But hey. Maybe because people not working, doing certain stuff. But as usual, like I said, I am happy for every eyes and ears we can. So for those who come over the Project with Mike, side check is basically we just talk about general things from anything we want to talk about, keeping it light as it can be, but just a general talking about things. I mean, I can see right now in the chat a lot of people want to talk about a certain thing, so we might touch on that a little bit. But we also going to touch on certain things that. So me and Trip was listening to something about corporate America, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that in a bit. But like I said, I think for us, like I said, all of us here, even Quan, we are gamers. So for us, a game came out, and Kadosh, you asked a question. If you asked if we got it, so were you gonna get the game or not?
No, I haven't. Playing it right now, actually.
What game is this?
No, the Super Mario Brothers. Yeah.
3D World.
3D World,
Oh.
Bowser's Fury.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking about getting that later on down the line. I'm more focused on. I don't know. I'm in the middle of a backlog from hell
I think
Are
everybody.
on
you
my
kidding?
PC,
Nah.
on my PS4,
I think everybody
Dude.
is.
bruh. On my Wii U, even on my Wii.
I have that too, because I
I
still.
mean, I could go back GameCube. I could go back. I could go back further if you want.
I think GameCube is the furthest back I got. I think all the game from 64 and Dreamcast and everything. The games I got already done played and beat.
There's one game that I just want to beat for the hell of it again, in particular, and it's not even a major title, but it brought back good memories for me, and that would happen to be Grandia 2.
Okay.
It's
Ooh.
something about the combat. It kind of like I saw the potential there, that fighting system, something similar, to be done with something like Chrono Trigger, where you could activate double and triple techniques with timing involved, and that wherever the area that you were at is the background of the fight itself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
In other words, when you sit up here and run into a creature, kind of like in let me see, I'm not sure if it's called Legend of Mana or it's the second Densetsu 3 that was done in 3D. Like that, where you basically actually fight the active there, but you could do double and triple techniques and unlock them, stuff like that. I would like to see that done.
Okay.
That's my dream game right there. A Chrono Trigger done in that format. But the thing is, like I said, I still want to finish Grandia 2.
Okay. Well, what's your impressions of playing it on the Switch, Kanoshi?
It's pretty good so far. I mean, I'm only on the second level, but I've noticed that they added some graphical details to the game
Okay.
that weren't on the Wii U. So
Oh, okay. That's
it's
good to
basically
hear.
still the same game.
Well, no, I know. Well,
Just a
yeah,
bit smoother.
yeah. I mean, it changed. I did saw some reviews and it changed a couple things as well too. But like I said, most everybody's trying to get to that special sauce at the end. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. So, like I said, I got it for me and I got it for Trip. So when the time comes, it comes. But yeah, that's right now, like just like how Quan said, I basically been playing Sakuna Rise of Ruin, and that game is very addictive. One, and two.
Second Densetsu 3 is awesome.
Got you.
I'm not sure if it's called Legend of Mana or no, Trials of Mana. That's what they call it in English.
Yeah. Okay.
Trials of Mana. That game is flipping awesome.
You talking about the remake or
the remake that's in 3D, not the one that came in a collection
with
with the Final Fantasy Legends.
Let
me see, Legend of Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana. Not that one. No, the one that actually came by itself.
Yeah, I beat that game earlier this year. The 2 stories, I just need to beat the last. But it basically.
It's got 6. It's got 6 stories. You got to go by the protagonist.
You got 3 stories, really. If you play with the characters, if you play with the 2 main characters, because there's 3 boss endings. If you play so there are 3 boss endings and there are 2 characters per boss. So if you play if you play with them with the 2 characters in a boss plus a third person, you're gonna get the 2 endings with the same character. So I've done that. Okay. So I've done the one with Duran and Angela, and I've done the one with the thief. I forgot his name, and the Valkyrie. Now the other one, which is the Beast King, which is Kevin and I forgot Charlotte. That's the only one I did, but because it was too much repetition, I got burned out. So I beat those 2 stories, and then I got to get the other one.
Which is the one that's a midget?
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte. I was wondering though, because some people say she's a boy, other people say she's a girl. I'm confused.
No, she's a girl.
I know. I figured myself. I thought she was a girl. But I've seen some websites list her as a boy for some reason.
Let's not even get to that kind of websites. Let's just leave that alone.
I don't know if that's fan canon
Let's
or what.
just
But
leave
the
that.
thing is,
Let's just leave that alone.
I'm not gonna. I'm stepping around the minefield for a moment. I'm just saying I was confused. But what I wanted to know, what do you think of that character right there when you set up a proper light build?
I mean, in it both Charlotte by herself.
Yeah, Charlotte by herself is either as a light or dark build. What do you think of her as a character?
I mean, I use as a light build when I play the game both times with the character situation I had. I mean, she's a good character. I mean, she's a good healer. That literally comes in handy lots of time when I've been playing the game. She's a good healer. She has her we call it arcane attack, where when you power up and you can use it. It comes in handy to break up the source. But as a character, I wish they did not give her that her voice.
No, the voice is awesome.
The voice
like
is
that voice.
no. Well, that's you. Well, okay, to each
Dude,
their own. To each own. Her
it's
voice.
awesome that it's annoying. That's the whole point. He's a little kid following you around,
But she's
obsessing
not.
over Heath.
No, but she's not a little kid. She's not a kid.
Maybe compared to us, who knows?
No. Because of the race that she is, she's a half breed. She is older, because she
yeah, but proportionately to her race compared to ours, she's young, is what I'm saying. You could be 50 years old and be Elvin, or
yes, that's kind of, and that's,
or
yes,
be Asari, or be Asari as far as in Mass Effect. You could be 100 years old and still be considered young.
Gotcha.
So you can't go by that. I'm just saying that comparatively speaking.
No, I'm not. That's how she perceives herself in the story. It's not me saying that.
No, I'm saying that she's young comparatively for her race. That's why she acts the way she does.
Well, and that's where the annoyance comes back, because she acts as adult, and I have no problem with that. But it's when she goes into her crying and the whole using the exaggeration of her words is just it's like, okay. But I mean,
it reminds me of the show Young Sheldon. Young Sheldon's smart for his age, but he's still a little kid.
Got you. But
that's basically it. It's a little kid living in a grown world is going to say grown things if they've been around it, but doesn't make it grown. Doesn't make them grown. They still have to have a whole lot more life experience comparatively.
Gotcha.
So from the perspective of her race, you got to understand they need to accumulate a whole lot more experience in order to sit up here and catch up to us. That's like, a candle that's like 6 feet long. It has to burn down all the way down to reach its base to fulfill its purpose, right? Compared to a short candle. It's only around for a short time. So basically,
but okay.
No, but I'm just saying, by comparison, for it to fulfill its purpose and end its purpose, right? Basically, it burns down. And when you have a shorter candle, it has less time. So comparatively, it fulfills its purpose a lot quicker.
Yes,
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has to accomplish a lot in less time. That's why humans, by comparison to her race, age quicker. So we tend to view somebody that age as immature because we're comparing it to ourselves. And I'm saying she's annoying. Yeah, granted, I get it. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't take that away from you. But you got to look at it from her perspective, not from your eyes, and see that she's still a little kid. And once you see that, you're like, oh, figures. Kids tend to be clingy. That's all to it. She's obsessed with Heath.
Yeah, she's obsessed with Heath, and yeah, got that situation.
It's borderline infatuation. But it is what it is. Kids tend to be immature. That's why you correct them. That's why you teach them. But that's how she is. If you perceive her like that as a character, then you understand from a literary perspective what they were going for story-wise.
I got you.
And that's what I'm saying. We sometimes get so wrapped up into our point of view that we forget that when we look at a story is not two-dimensional. It's not flat. It's not forward and back, left and right. It has many dimensions. And you got to look at it from every angle in order to truly enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, Kanoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, well, I don't know how yours. Cause I know you work and you have schedule and do all kind of stuff. But when the time comes to, because I know you know that part of the game. So when it comes to the other part, just let us know how you think about it for the audience sake. Okay.
All right.
Other than that,
Oh,
though,
you're talking about Bowser's Fury?
yeah.
Oh God, I heard good things about it.
No, it is. I'm just just
Yeah, but it's good to know the perspective of somebody because you got a general idea what they like and compare it rationally to what you like.
well, I mean, I'm gonna play the game no matter. I'm just for the audience for just to put it out. But speaking of that, and again, seeing what the people say in the chat. Yes, I'm gonna take some of that stuff to Project Open Mic, so you guys will see it, and then I will put up the second half of that video. I will put out the second half. I have to do it, and then I will combine those two videos. And yes, I know there's a mistake in the video. I had an audio problem. That's my fault. That's on me. But I will put the two together, the video on that Time Magazine article, once I get the second half done, because as you guys check again, you can go to that video and you can read the article itself. That's a long read. That's a long read.
Makes you think how long they've been on this.
Yeah, I mean, trust me. When I got to that part, the point where when I looked at it, I was like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm looking down. I'm like, "Holy crap! There's so much more to go." I said, "Yep." I tried it in. I was cocky. I thought I could do it in one gulp. I was wrong. I was wrong. So I will do that video over the weekend, and then once time come together, stitch it together, and take out that error that I had with the audio, so you guys can get into it, enjoy it. And also again, yes, I've seen what they have been done. Don't get me wrong. We'll talk about it on this show as well too. And let me see more chats going. Yes, and also thank y'all for. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people did not like how I phrase certain things, of course, but a lot of people understand why I call it. For people asking why the reason I call it the Black Curse, the reason I call that is I see there's a lot of look. The reason I say I don't speak for the Black community don't speak for me is, again, like I said in last night's video, I don't want to be in a group mentality. Okay, there's a lot of Black people out there that would not agree with what I do, and there's a lot of things I would not agree with a lot of people. Okay, there's a lot of people who will do some heinous and horrible stuff, and I won't be doing that. But when you have people in a group mentality, when people try to group you together, one person is what can bring down the group.
The whole thing.
Even though the group has many good people, they don't want to talk about the good aspects. They only want to talk about that naivete. That's why last night when I did the comparison and saying, when people are talking about that and young kids don't know that, which is sad, we had good Black representation back in the 90s in TV shows, in music, and all kind of stuff. But seeing what is coming now,
you know what?
Nah.
If you don't mind me interjecting, do you know what caused the great divide and the great exclusion of people seeing things for what they are? Like the 90s was very candid with their expression of Black culture as well as Hispanic culture. I mean, that was the days of In Living Color and Mad TV, and people were sitting up here and dealing and confronting racial issues through comedy and expression, where nowadays, if you were to do the same thing, you'd be marginalized as a person that was racist, instead of somebody that was trying to express and expose those negative things that you see. Case in point, College Humor is a website and a YouTube channel that does parody. There's
Yeah.
one parody in particular that I enjoyed a lot, and that was the CEO of ABC. And why? They took the whitewashing that they saw and reversed it. In other words, seeing it as self-parody, they looked at and examined how when you have these fundamental flaws in your shows, how people are going to actually perceive them versus what you're thinking your demographic show. Now, that may sound like a little complicated, but I'm going to put it simple to you then. Basically, if you say racist stuff, people are going to react negative. If you make a show that kind of underhandedly does it, kind of like a passive aggressive side comment, oh, you look good in that dress no matter how thick you are.
Yes, yeah.
People are going to react. So, right or wrong. I mean, one particular segment of the skit of the CEO of ABC was this. The guy is like, give me something that won't cause a boycott. And the guy goes, we got ourselves a remake. I said, remake of what? Family Matters. He said, oh, Family Matters? Okay. I said, okay, everybody, we're returning back to the Winslow family and Family Matters with Steve Urkel and his shenanigans and all that. Now, starring in the new show called All White, All Families Matter, starring an all white, no. And the guy gets mad because he's like, oh, no, they didn't. See what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, my God, hold up. First of all, you want me to clean up your mess, but you're giving me more mess to clean up. That's the humor behind it all. And the thing is, people would look at that, and instead of focusing on what they're intending to do, they'll just focus on what? Oh, here they go. All white lies are all lies, and Black Lives Matter, and oh my God, argue. Instead of listening to the whole conversation, they only heard one sentence and ran with it.
Well, it's like I said. Well, it's just right now. My point I was saying, all we were saying is that look, we had Black and Quan is basically the oldest out of us here. Not gonna say, you don't need to say age, but just see the oldest out of here. But he knows
I'm 48 going on 49. There, done.
he knows
Moving
that
forward.
he knows that, like, again, we had shows that was good. We had music that was that. We had comedy. We had all kind of stuff. Even when people was like, oh, when you see people say that, oh, there was no female representation, you had Wonder Woman, you had the Golden Girls, you had Charlie's Angels, you had the Bionic Woman, you had so many shows that was by women, and they were the main leads, and still now they're like,
People
oh,
complained.
we need
I was
representation
watching Golden
now.
Girls. That was good.
Oh, it was funny. Those
Golden Girls was awesome. That was
It's awesome.
empowerment, not only for women, but for the elderly.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, the thing about it is the way that a lot of the youth right now and what people are saying, like I said, Twitter's a cesspool. But what people are saying is like, they're saying it like we never had these things. We did. That's why I was kind of upset with Carol Burnett, because she's like, oh, we never had a woman this. Carol, you had your own show back in those days called the Carol Burnett Show. What are you talking about? How delusional can you get that you forgot your own show?
I'm guessing she got old. Sorry. That's a bad pun right there.
They're not good at this whole memory holing business. Sorry.
Sorry, that one caught me off guard. Trip, you said she got old. Like, come on now, I'm like, oh, you can't be saying that. That's ageism now. All that stupid crap. Everything is an ism now. Ism this, ism that, ism this. Jeez.
Uh-oh. Look. Side topic. The EST of the WWE is walking to the ring to meet Sasha Banks. Oh, please let that match happen. Please.
Okay. But going back
Please, I'll turn into such a damn fanboy.
Going back to what we was talking about, like Trip, like I said, we had a representation, and that's when things were free, and we didn't. And also, like Quan said, like we we didn't have to. The problem is we didn't have to bring up the boogeyman. But it's like I swear, I feel like people like we have to have the boogeyman there to just keep them in check because back then we had racial issues, we had tension, we had the Rodney King being everything, and that's all that was back in the 90s. But we weren't that crazy, and we didn't stick to it. It was like, man, it's messed up. That's messed up. Let's move on. Let's whatever, and it was no problem. But now, because of the word identity politics, that has really messed up a lot of things. Like you are only you're only as opposite to Martin Luther King. You're judged on your color of your skin, not on your character. Why? And they were, and I'm guaranteed. Trust me, if Martin Luther King was now, he said what he said. They would have him. They would have said he's a sellout. He's a
no, they would call him an Uncle Tom.
Which again, I have no problem. You call it Uncle Tom because Uncle Tom was a hero. People need to.
Can I ask you guys a simple question regarding this
people need to read
topic of race? Regarding the topic of race, I got a simple question for you. Let's remove race and turn it into a different view. You got a bag of multi-meal Fruit Pebble cereal. You got Post Fruity Pebble cereal. One costs more than the other. They look different from each other, but one tastes better, and I won't say which. But it's arbitrary. It's based on point of view because you might think the other one tastes better. But my point is this. My point is this. At the end of the day, isn't your belly still getting full?
Point taken.
Speaking about
my point, that's my whole entire point, though. Your belly's still getting full. I mean, on a personal note, I'm a Puerto Rican and French person. Okay? I am married to a Southern African American woman. I was previously married to a Puerto Rican woman. There was a reason that's previous, but I'm not going to get into that. But the bottom line is this. Rather than observe what the packaging had, I wanted what was inside.
Yeah, content of character.
And I ended up with the better deal. Now, fine, we bump heads. Hell, tonight we bumped heads. I got so mad at her, I walked out the room and said nothing. But here's the point. I could fix that. She could fix that. It ain't no big deal. It ain't no big thing. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're on the same page. Right? Got nothing to do with ethnicity. Got nothing to do with race. Got nothing to do with nationality, religion, nothing. We're just two people that share a life together, share a house together, share finances together, share the bed together, and so on.
Yes.
So, if people would sit up here and get over that, if they would get over their preconceived notions about people and look beyond that, there would be a betterment for them. Case in point, though, I'm going to bring this up. And it's not to tell you to choose or not choose by what I'm about to say, but it's just making a point. If you take an ethnicity that is based on an island culture that only procreates within that island culture, certain genetic deformities tend to become prominent, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Take them outside of that gene pool to another gene pool altogether. What happens to the progeny? They're not as likely to transmit those genetic deficiencies because there's something that counterbalances, right?
Correct.
Now, this is if you choose at random based on emotion of context of character versus color, nationality, ethnicity. When I studied sociology in college, I had a debate with a girl who was interracial, who believed that you only supposed to be one race. She had something against her white half. She was black and white. And I told her plain and simple, I said, you ascribe to the same belief as the Aryans did in the 1940s. And guess what? All they did was basically perpetuate blue eyes, which are sensitive to light, light skin, which is sensitive to light. Okay, deformities such as a propensity to be non-immune to the disease that causes leprosy, certain gastrointestinal problems. I'm not gonna get into.
Okay, okay, yeah, yes.
But you see my point? I said all you're doing is ascribing to the same things that would decimate your proposed preferred ethnicity. There is no ethnicity. That's what people don't get. That's
Well,
something that was conjured up in the heads of people in order to make it simple to write off certain groups. It's
Well,
lazy thinking that creates a racist.
I wouldn't say it's lazy thinking. I wouldn't say
I
that.
would.
You
I
say
would.
that. I
Because
say that. I wouldn't say that.
take away. Listen, take away. Imagine if white people had invited Africans to work as laborers rather than slaves. Let's just change history for a moment and paid them a proper wage. Would we be having the same conversations now if that happened then?
Anyone? I'd say no.
Thank you.
Conversations
would-
would be
My
different.
point exactly.
I would say
I
yes.
don't
I would
know.
say yes.
I think we would say.
I'd
those
say
I would
no.
say yes because it's human
Why-
nature.
why?
Because it's human nature.
Think about it. If
Oh,
they
I
paid them a
wouldn't have.
proper wage, listen.
What
The
is
only
proper
reason
wage?
why
What
slavery
is-
was done
what
away
is
with
proper wage?
was Eli Whitney. Now, here's the thing. There was selfish among the ruling class that because they saw no use in keeping indentured servitude, which is their polite way of saying slavery, because of Eli Whitney making it easier to extract cotton from the seed that has burrs, spines. This is why, in the first place, they had slavery, because they were too lazy to go out in the fields and do it themselves. And I don't mean the whole entire white race. I mean those individuals that own plantations.
I mean, it can't be just cotton because not every.
Now, I'm giving an example. I mean,
Okay.
you got to start somewhere.
Okay.
Now, my point is, given that that was a major industry, okay?
hmm
Textiles was a major industry in the United States and a major export,
hmm
okay? When Eli Whitney came up with that invention that extracted the fibers from the seeds
mean the
without
cotton gin?
touching the burrs, all of a sudden, certain ignorances came to light to certain people that were more enlightened. They were like, why in the hell are we doing this to people that, quite honestly, are people no different than us, just because we were inconvenienced? Others were like, oh no, I'm stuck to my ways. No, they ain't going nowhere. And still others were like, huh? You gotta remember something, there's layers. There's not just one group. You can't make a sweeping generalization of an ethnicity one way, or if you reverse the system, the other. In other
Okay.
words, all
give
white
you-
people are not the villain, just like all black
Mm.
people are not villains.
No, I can agree with you when you said that last part right there.
No, now what I'm saying, as a result, that was a catalyst, among other things, because as the Industrial Revolution chugged on and found easier and better ways of sitting up here and sustaining the flow of produce, okay, as they found easier ways to do it, like threshers and etc., you know,
Yeah.
they saw there was no need. But then they looked back. Was there a need then? And no, there wasn't.
Okay.
A lot of people rationalized within themselves what they were doing was wrong. Like the Quakers, for example. The Quakers knew that slavery was bad. Slavery, and like they tried to excuse, like a lot of white supremacists use the Bible to reinforce slavery. But what they don't understand was slavery was not slavery in their sense of the word. Basically, slavery was meant to be as a temporary condition where you pay back a price and you were let free.
Okay.
Like, for example, prisoners of war. Rather than kill them, that's a wasted resource. You sit up here and you have them work, but you feed them, you clothe them, you provide them with sustenance and monetary gain.
And what was the monetary gains in some cases? Because again, there have been documents.
No,
found-
actual finance. I'm talking about in biblical time.
yeah, and they were-
Compared to and contrasting with what happened during the
Okay.
1600s onward.
well, it can be 1600 onward because they literally find parchment paper of people signing themselves to be slaves in Egypt.
Yeah, but they weren't signed. They were captured, and it was acknowledged the fact they were captured. And rather than be killed in combat, they will work their way off and be gone. Do what you got to do. A lot of the, like, for example, the pyramids. People think slavery built the pyramids. Actually, that's not true. The people that built the pyramids were honored people because they had the foresight and the knowledge to do architectural installations. Do you understand? They were advanced of a common hut, way above and beyond, moving bricks of many tons in weight and positioning precisely where even a paper from the leaf of a notebook couldn't fit in between.
Say early on.
Yeah,
And then I'm making a point.
You
Listen,
got that,
and they were
but
paid. Listen, and they were paid in silver and beer.
not all
Beer
of them were
being
paid that
beer
way.
being a method of preserving water without having parasites or bacteria. Just
Okay,
saying.
so the document.
No. I'm just saying. Look
wait,
it up.
wait.
Look it up. Look it up. This is
I'm
this is
asking-
actually
I'm
this is not
asking you a question
Hellenistic Egyptians. This is
Let me
not
ask you a question.
Wait. This is not Hellenistic Egyptians that we're talking.
The
The
what
Hellenistic
now?
Egyptians. Yeah, Hellenistic. The ones that were from Greece and took over Egypt.
Okay.
It's not them.
All right.
It's the actual African Egyptians that had this in their hieroglyphics. That this is the way things went, right?
Okay.
When you enslave a person back then, it was a temporary thing. It was done to kind of wean them off of getting pissed off at you for killing their buddies and say, look, we got it. We won. It is what it is. Here you go. Go on with your life. Enjoy. Versus saying, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to kill you. Excuse my language. F that. I'm going to kill you.
Does that the what Quan just said happened? Yes, but then let's go to what the Genghis Khan did with his people when he captured them.
That's
What Alexander the Great
that's
did the
interesting.
same
Go
thing.
ahead.
What Alexander the Great did when they captured the people.
Many cultures did this. Is what I'm saying.
That's my point too. And where you were going, and what I'm trying to state is
Some people did the slash and burn mentality. Others saw a waste of a resource. People are a resource and a symbiotic source of relationship. You cannot sit up here and indiscriminately kill. Even in war, there were rules.
well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Even
depending on
now,
which,
we have
depending
rules.
on which wars you're talking about. But yes, because
That stems from
if-
how
if-
prior history.
to a degree.
What I'm saying is there are rules. I'm not saying there aren't people that break those rules.
Well,
happens
okay,
all the time.
let me give you an example. Most people who listen
There
to
are many
Pale Pals-
countries that manipulate finance, for example, just to
Alright,
sit up here and break a country financially,
All right, Quan. Wait, hold up.
which is just as, if not even more detrimental than a physical war, because it propagates further. But now, what I'm saying to you, Liger, what I'm saying to you is that during the 1600s, they were too lazy. So they made an excuse. They took a scripture and twisted its meaning. So they had an excuse to take people from where they were living to another place and gave them nothing but the bare minimum in return. And you know what
Okay,
that was?
this you describe in
No, no,
one
I'm
part.
gonna make it real quick.
Okay.
No, I'm just wait. Let me finish. The bottom line is, it's the word Canaan, as in Canaanite, versus Cain, which is a totally different word in Hebrew. Canaanites are from the line of Ham and descended down into Africa. We know that, right? But the line of Cain terminated with the flood, according to what they believe, right? I'm not saying it's true or false, but I'm saying if people ascribe to a religion and believe a certain thing, and that is their excuse for their actions politically, financially, emotionally, and spiritually, then they have to own up to what they believe, is all I'm saying, right? Now, Cain died in the flood, and so did his family. Why? There was a rule: do not intermingle, do not kill them. So if the flood came and they couldn't intermingle with them, and they couldn't even so much as kill them, what's going to happen to all of them when the flood comes? Bye. Because there was only 8 people on that boat, right? Now, we're talking about, now I'm not saying that this is true or false, history or not, because a lot of people get offended or ascribe to different beliefs or whatever, but fine, granted. But what I'm saying is, to those that do ascribe to this and use it as an excuse, where is their excuse? When the line they claim that the Africans were was simply not true.
That's okay.
All because they went by a modern pronunciation of a word versus the actual Hebrew. Cain is not Canaan. Canaan was the grandson of who? Well, son and grandson of who? Ham. And Ham was a son of no.
Noah.
Okay. Got nothing to do with Cain. So, if that's their excuse in history for starting the marginalization and the abuse of a group of people who were transported on ships, dehydrated, plugged up with oatmeal and molasses in their anuses to make sure they don't defecate while they're on a 30-day voyage, and wonder why people are pissed off now? If people use that as an excuse, then yes, be pissed off. But there are people who lament what happened, who had nothing to do with it. They were not there. They cannot take the culpability of what their ancestors did because they're separate people. You got to learn where to draw the line. Because guess what? This kind of mess didn't just happen here. Look at Rwanda and Burundi, when you had 2 separate tribes that looked slightly different in the nose and were killing each other.
Well,
What about Northern Ireland?
There was more features to that, but yes.
Protestants versus Catholics. The Middle East, where you got Christians, Muslims, and Jews at each other's throats for nothing.
I got you. Well, I mean, that's my point.
And the thing is, I'm like, where do you draw the line in the sand? When is enough enough? And that's all I'm trying to say to people. I'm going to say this over and over again. Sometimes you got to beat common sense in people with simple words, and the bottom line is this. If it's not helping you, why embrace it? Why? You got to acknowledge it, because you know you'd be ignorant not to. It happened. I'm not telling you to refuse acknowledgement of the issues that have occurred in the past. But remember, we're not 3-dimensional beings, we're 4th-dimensional. We perceive time as well as up, right? You know, up, down, left, right, forward, and back. We perceive time as well. The person you were yesterday is not the same person you are today. Same goes for what happened in the past may not happen to the same degree now. But how do you deal with it now? Simple. You got to learn how to look back, center, and forward.
I got you.
That's true growth. That is true growth. And you're not going to reach that point if you're too busy pointing fingers at people who never sat up there and raised their hand to you. I toss it to the next person. That's all I got to say about it.
I got you. Well, to what Juan was saying, there are certain, like I've stated that again, human nature, they're going to, no matter what you separate yourself off, tribalism is the core of what breaks out racism, sexism, classism, all that stuff comes out of that. Whatever the isms you want, but mostly tribalism, because you're just gonna go with certain groups. But the part we were saying about the rules, as he just stated, like I said, some wars had rules, some for them were not. Because again, when I went to Europe and I went into a WW, the World War History Museum that I was in Berlin, and I went through that, and you listen to when they had the, what do you call it? When the war ended, when World War II ended, and they wanted to stop it and everything done, and it stopped at 12 o'clock. Was it 12 o'clock the day? Yeah, it had to be midday. It was, and you hear the audio of all the guns just blazing like that, and it coming close to 12 o'clock, and it was like you see the seconds tick down, and you hear the audio, you're like pop, pop, and everybody raised out of their foxhole, and they just walked around, and then I was like, sometimes it's amazing what humans can do. You just came from a crazy war, and you just stop literally at 12 at the time and just walk away. It's a miracle how certain things get done in these worlds sometimes. But it was amazing to see it, and I mean, and watch it as well too. Like it was like when I was in that museum, I was like, this is amazing. And point taken, as what I was saying, I was trying to say to you, Quan, we were saying that too. Look, they weren't only Africans that was coming. There weren't people from Africa coming only to the Caribbean and to America. Not because of picking cotton, not because of the lazy as well. Too, majority of the slavery went between the Middle East and Brazil and South Africa. And there was a cotton down there, and there was a cotton over there. In the Caribbean was mostly rum, and in Brazil was mostly because that's why you have Brazil is a weird place. They're super religious and then not super not. It's a weird conundrum they have, and that's why a lot of the politicians like to put it, because they are religious down there, and they put a lot of stuff. They put a lot of syntax on stuff like video games. Is syntax down there. So if you want to play games, you gotta pay you gotta pay a lot of money to bring it into the country because they think video games is a sin.
You know, the thing is, where's the line? Like I said before, there should be a separation of church and state. One got nothing to do with the other.
True.
And the thing is, a lot of these countries that do this, that try to embrace a certain religion and espouse it as the state religion, and they do stuff like this, it is at the detriment of their population if they choose to have a free system.
If they choose to is the magic word.
Yep.
Because
Like case in point, United Arab Emirates, Islam. Saudi Arabia, Islam. Carry a Bible there, illegal.
Yeah.
Carry a Torah, they leave it alone. It's the good book.
Well, try to do that
Or the old book, rather.
Got you. Try to do that in China. No matter what.
There you go.
Are.
Go to Russia. Everything's out.
Well, Russia does have a little bit of religion, but because religion, and I want to say this to my friend I know who came from Russia and how he explained it to me. And he's a black guy because his mom was African, and a Russian guy married him and married his mom, and blah blah blah. So he's half black, half Russian. And he lived in Russia until he was like 27. But China, like I said, they don't every religion, they don't believe in. If you don't believe in the government as your god, then they don't care. That's why I always.
Like
That's
the whole thing they got with Tibet. With Tibet.
Thank you, Tibet. No, well,
Yes.
it's the thing that Kim is like every time when you look at the news, they always talk about the Uyghur monks, and it's sad for them. I'm not denying that, but they're not the only one that's getting put into these camps. Is Christians? Is Buddha? Is Buddha as Kwan said, the Tibetan monks? Is any if you believe anything other than that, that's what they do.
You know how I feel
Goulash.
like when it comes to religion? I'm going to give you a little personal view through a song, and I'm just going to tell you the song. Go to the group Imagine Dragons and look at the song Believer.
Yeah, I know the song.
That's me.
Well, like, you know what? Me and Chip, we were
I'll
talking-
fight for what I believe, but I'm fighting for what I believe. I'm not forcing you to believe what I believe.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
but it's
You
like
try to beat me down for what I believe, trust me, you're going to get hit right back. I ain't going to be the biggest and baddest guy on the planet. I got my elements. That's granted. Otherwise, I would not be receiving full disability from the military.
but going
But
to
my point is, if you're going to believe what you believe, fine. But be ready for a rebuttal, no matter what. At the end of the day, as far as who's right or who's wrong, when the time comes, we'll know. All of us will know whether everything that we believed since we were kids was true or not. In the meanwhile, take the time to understand everything you can. It's kind of like a whole bunch of kids giving a math test. And not all of them know the formulae for certain equations, right?
Mhm.
Right?
Right.
The procedure of how to calculate them and everything, right? Like
Matthew,
division and multiplication goes before subtraction and addition, stuff like that. Parentheses overrun and basically, supersede what's outside the parentheses, that kind of thing. Unless you know the procedure, you ain't gonna know what's right or wrong, left or right, up or down, backwards or forward. But at the same time, like I said, if you don't take the time to do it, it's your choice. Nobody's telling you or forcing you to do anything. But at the end of the day, don't get mad at the results. It's you taking the test. Nobody's taking the test for you. That's the way I view faith.
yeah. Well,
Don't compare yourself to nobody else. Scratch that off the board. But take responsibility for the choices you make. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who will either get the benefits or suffer the consequences.
yeah. Hey, we are self. Basically, you have to. The consequences is what I always preach as well too. Like, hey, you got to take what you did, and also know that hey, the best way to learn is basically from failure.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. In this world, when I say world, I mean society. In this world, that's the only alternative we have. We have ancestors that started that chain of events, and we got no choice but to follow what they went through. Now, if you got a kid that's never been exposed to drugs, crime, whatever, right? But also neglected to teach them that there's a
Mhm.
possibility they can expose to these things, right?
Mhm.
Then don't be upset if the kid gets around this and slips in, right? But on the
Okay.
other hand, if these things did not exist, then it's not necessary to teach the child because there would be no exposure. Know the difference between the two.
Yeah. Well,
That's all I'm saying. Now, getting back on different topics like gaming and politics.
hold
and things like-
up. Before that, because we were talking about some. I wanted to bring up what what me and Chip was talking kind of earlier today, seeing about how so with the whole religion and everything else like that, and we were saying that because we were talking about spirituality and religion itself,
Mm.
and we were saying how well, what was the channel you were listening to, Trip?
It was Answers in Genesis.
Okay, and we were just talking about like because you were talking about like I said, spiritual religion and how religion is, and they were talking about how atheism and everything, and how that also is his own religion. People don't see it as that, which is that's they are their own religion. Atheism is his own religion as well.
Yeah.
Because they got that group thing to go in there and try to shut everything down for whatever, and like.
Oh
me,
right, like their private. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just put that example by the Jewish private school is basically being is being invaded by the government.
Well,
UK government.
they want them to be invaded by the government. Oh yeah, it was UK. Yes, I thought they were the one that was saying was in like Minnesota, like close. Was in America?
Oh yes, there was also the one in Minnesota.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, that's what we're hearing. Where
I do believe that that one is about the whole racism thing.
That, but also the teaching of evolution, which is they were saying when we listen to it, they say now this is we need to protect the children of their choice and stuff like that. I'm like, if the parents
and I'm like,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, the kids are old enough to make their own choice, even though they're being guided by their parents.
The thing is,
but that is one. But also, wait, quick while. Let me just set up what we were talking about. But not only that,
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when children have the choice. Basically,
no, that's not what I'm talking. That is not what I'm talking
about. No,
but
that's what Trip said.
No, Trip was saying that because wait, let me finish out the conversation. Not only that, these people, I forgot the name of the group, the atheist group that was going at. They were saying that how the choice, okay, but the parents put the kids in these private religious schools, Catholic, Christian, or Jewish schools for what they want to do, but they're private. And the group was going after say, okay, if you ain't gonna teach evolution, then we should take away your accreditation as a school.
No, because
I know
that negates freedom of religion.
Yes,
that negates freedom. No, but what I'm saying is, it is up to the parent. Again, I'm falling back to what I was saying. It is up to the parent to decide what direction they want to steer their child at. But you know what? Here's the interesting part. Doesn't mean the child is going to hit the mark. It's like when you fire an arrow from a bow. Wind direction can change where it goes. That's kind of like the independence of the child, right? Or the rebellious nature, however you want to perceive it. Right? Mm-hmm. You could aim a child in a direction. Doesn't mean they're going to go there unless they choose to. Right? Yeah. But let that be the choice between the parents and the child. It should have nothing to do with an outside spectator. Now, I disagree, for example, and this is a hot topic, but I'm going to say it. I disagree with gender neutralization or reversal. You know what that means?
Be careful
now,
tread with that.
But just because I disagree, do I impose that on others? No. Why? I have a brother who got reassigned surgically to be a woman. I don't agree with it. But is it my business or my decision? No.
Nope.
Now, I may have a belief system that discourages that path. But here's the thing. My belief system also encourages freedom of choice.
Yep.
So, and Trip met my brother / sister and knows that I don't agree. Even heard me flat out disagree. You understand? But
Yeah, I got
I
it.
expressed to my brother, and I say slash sister out of respect, that that's your choice. I don't go to bed with who you go to bed with. I don't sit up here and change my body plan to your body plan. So why should I get hurt over what you choose to do? It is your decision. Problem is, people extend their nose past the point of it, but not behind it. You know what that means?
Yeah, I know what I'm saying means.
They're so concerned with everybody else and don't look at themselves.
Well,
If you sit up here and get so bigoted, okay, that you can't understand that God Himself judges people according to if you ascribe to that belief system, then you got no business pointing fingers, casting attitudes, or otherwise enforcing rules that quite honestly do not fit. If it is a private school, it's a private school for a reason. It's for private education. The accreditation comes from learning the basic subjects that are entailed by the Board of Education. So far as that, if that is accomplished, and a lot of schools, by the way, that are Catholic will teach evolution as an optional choice of observation. But remember, it is called a theory for a reason. It is not called scientific law. We have the law of gravity. What goes up must come down, especially when drawn on upon a force, based on the mass and how it distorts space-time, right? You throw an apple up, it's going to fall down on Earth. End of story. We know that. But as far as teaching a child things that are askew from the belief of the common, if they can't prove it themselves in the so-called common, how do they have the right to enforce it? You're espousing a theory as fact, and that goes against science. Theory of evolution has remained a theory because that's what it is. It is a theory. It is an idea. It is a concept that has yet to be proven conclusively. No different
Yep.
than creation to a lot of people. There's not enough evidence to support, a lot of people say. So if that's the case, then why get an attitude when a parent wants to teach their child creationism versus evolution? They can understand evolution. They can comprehend the fundamentals of it and the basis of it and why people think that supports their ideology. But you can't go and tell them that they're wrong until it is proven conclusively. That's how science works. It's like back in the day when people used to sit up here and have meat in jars that were closed and meat in jars that were open. Why did they do that? Because there was an ongoing theory at the time that maggots came from meat. They found out there was exposure to flies and their eggs, their larvae, their pupa that produced maggots. And onward. It was proven conclusively that meat by itself does not produce maggots.
Mm-hmm.
So, until that is given conclusive evidence, you cannot sit up here and remove accreditation on the basis of a theory alone.
Well, we know these people don't care about that.
Well,
Which
you
is
know what?
sad.
They should. They should, because here's the thing. If they're refusing creationism on the basis of no evidence that are substantiating it to the point where it's definitive, then the reverse is also true.
Exactly.
They should do
No,
And
with
that's
evolution.
my point.
You are correct.
And that is my point. I believe in creationism. I do. I don't believe that I could walk into the woods, see a stack of logs form a cabin, and that it just fell there by itself. And that's a cabin. Imagine how much more complex a human being is.
We know that. Going back to what you just stated, and that's the problem is like, okay, you don't want to teach religion in public schools. You said that's which you have separation of state and religion and church. Okay, but then you want to go into private schools and tell them that they got to teach evolution.
You know what? Bullcrap. I mean, they can do it provisionally and as an option.
No, I have
Not
no
an
problem. I have no
obligation.
problem. No, I have no problem if it's an option like you just stated. If you want to do that, but you can't make it because again, they're going out. If
You
don't-
cannot make it rigid fact and rigid law and rigid
Well,
structure.
no. I'm just saying you can't make it, factual that if you don't do this, you lose your accreditation. That's kind of messed up.
Exactly my point. It's no different than if a child goes to school. Remember back in the days when they used to do, I don't know what they do now, but remember back in the days when they used to do a Pledge of Allegiance? And when we were our age, we had to salute the flag,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Some parents
Yeah.
feel like that's a betrayal to God because you're giving them precedence over God. So what they would do, they would stand up in respect and not salute,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
People would have a problem with that in public school. See, the reverse is also applicable. They cannot sit up here and get that attitude because you're enforcing church and state. There should not be a combination between the two. It's like that woman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wants people to swear an oath on the Christian Bible versus the Quran or the Torah or whatever religious text that people may choose to do when they swear an oath before office. And here's another thing. If this is actually legal, why is it that we have the ability to affirm rather than swear? Simple. Because this country was not founded on one sole belief system. If that's the case, then you have to uphold the ideals of the people that set up this country in the first place. The problem is you got so many people wanting their way versus a way that accepts people, that's inclusionary. And that's when you have the problem.
Going back to human nature, but yeah,
But you see what I'm saying?
that's human nature.
You got to learn how to accept other people and what they believe. You're going to know who's right at the end of the day. When the last day comes, that we'll know for sure what way's the right path and what way's the wrong path.
Yeah, when that day comes, yeah.
So my point is, in the meanwhile, do you want to be the one that withheld the beliefs of a person just because they didn't coincide with your belief versus what was true?
If I have to be in all honesty, if it's a person's belief, then the answer will be going to what you're saying. Yes. If
There
the
you go.
If the belief system now changes how culture reacts to certain things, then we got to figure out how to work on that. Because cultures
And-
always clash.
But that's the thing. You got to learn in a country where you claim to ascribe to the freedom of expression, the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, to allow these things, so long as it doesn't encroach upon the rights of others. Now, here's the interesting part. This is why our racists cannot espouse racist beliefs, because they're categorically taking away the rights of others by stating that one race is inferior to another. That's the difference between that and saying, I believe in the Quran. I say my 5 salats in the direction of the east facing Mecca. Versus a person who says, I celebrate Passover. I believe that there was the time where death was brought upon a nation because they refused to let us go. Versus another belief that says, one person died for our sins. Now, here's the thing. We don't know which one is right for sure
And that's the belief.
until we do our own due diligence, actual due diligence. I don't mean just,
Okay.
make an arbitrary choice. You gotta actually look, search, find.
Okay, you're right on that.
Research.
You're right on that.
That's the whole point of truth. You search
Okay.
and you find and you look. Now, you still don't know at the end of the day if you're right or wrong, but you could be
Again,
secure in the choice that you made because you took the time to look.
Okay, yes, and I agree with what you're saying in that regard. Where is a belief?
That's what I'm saying. That's
Wait.
what I'm saying.
What is a belief? And that's all right. But then, as I always do in Project Open Mic, with the belief, or basically how we doing it now, culture's downstream from political. Not mean that you got to be all politics talking about that. It's just how we do it. The cultures always will, like I said, some culture treat certain people a certain way. You don't
and I agree with you.
You don't even gotta be a race. It could be the same people. They treat women bad.
Religion, scientific standpoint.
No, I'm
For
talking about
example.
culture. No, I'm talking about culture. I'm just talking about culture.
No, more than that. I'm talking about more.
I got. Okay, wait, Quan, wait. I got that. I'm talking about how. Okay, because a lot of people I was talking about that. You know, we need to have more culture. Multiculturalism has never worked. Every time, because it always clashes. That one group
Because you know why? People are selfish by nature. And there's a reason.
Yes, but also
Nature.
yes, again, human nature. You going back to what I'm saying, but also remember, one culture treats women a certain way. One culture treats children. Wait, let me finish up. One culture treats children another way. One culture treats children another way. One culture treats seniors another way. And when you put them to these cultures, how they treat, and I'm talking about like when I'm talking about treating, I'm talking about they treat them bad, not good, bad.
Well, here's my point.
And when you try to clash them together, let me finish one. When they try to clash them together, that's where you got a problem, because they get cultures who think women are less than any positional thing or creature, whatever, which is bad.
So I got to stop you right there. I have to stop you right there. I have to interject if you don't mind.
I mind.
With all due
I
respect,
do mind because I let you talk. Let me just finish.
And trust me, you'll know where I'm going once I go.
Wait. Let me finish what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Just let me finish. But there's something important that needs to be said.
I never let. I let.
Okay, go ahead.
I let you talk. There's some cultures that treat women certain way. There's some that treat them that they know less than nothing. There's some culture that treat children less than nothing and just think that that's all it is for it. The other cultures,
I think we're having a delay because I hear you speaking and it's like overlapping what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's maybe well, like I said, I'm casting the whole thing, so you're behind. You must be behind and lag on me. But I'm just stating that when you bring those cultures together, they're going to. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Like I said, the cultures will clash on certain things.
Yeah, we're getting a little lag, and so that's why I'm kind of like seem to cut into you.
Yeah, I got you. You got a lag on it. Like Coach just said, drop in and drop back out and see what happened.
All I'm saying is this. Yeah, I can hear you, but the thing is, there's a delay.
Cut back in.
There's a delay.
Back out.
Oh, okay. But let me say something. You know that I just want to bring about a point. My belief system, so you can get an understanding where I'm coming from before you get confused.
I never said.
I know. Okay. Well, let me get away from the kitchen. That's probably it. Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you all the time.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. It's just
you on the lag end.
Yeah,
somebody got their mic on. Somebody has their mic open, and that's what it's doing. Yeah, but you got to remember something. You know, routers work in weird ways. If you don't have everybody on the same page, it's going to be a disjointing of the conversation.
Just fine. It's
okay.
Okay.
All right. It's probably because I'm walking back and forth from the kitchen. I'm pacing.
The lag is on your end, Quan. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Listen. I know. Listen, what I'm saying is this. In my belief, women are the foundation of a household. They're not in servitude. A position
that.
of leadership means you serve the people. It doesn't mean they serve you. So if a man is in charge of the house, it means he assumes more responsibility for what happens and blame when things don't turn out right. Notice that when a woman is viewed, Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, it gives it gives like 20 plus verses saying what a woman does in the house compared to a man's one. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So a woman assumes more responsibility of the household, assuming the man is responsible enough to handle his one. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
We're talking about 21-to-1 ratio of responsibility. So a woman, they'd say, cherish her for she is the weaker vessel. In other words, you gotta treat her like she's a chalice. Who throws a chalice on the ground when they're done drinking from it?
Cool.
Nobody. A chalice was a very expensive thing to produce. You don't throw that on the ground. You don't. The man, on the other hand, is done that way. Why? We're resilient. We can take it. We could take the abuse. We could take the indignity. We could take the suffering. It's not to say a woman is less than a man. No, she's more because she's precious. That's my belief system. I don't know what anybody else's belief system ascribes to. But there's a reason why I would rather walk away from my wife when I'm upset than stay there and be malignant.
Well, yeah.
Because I don't want to sit up here and hurt her. Because
No one
I know
should.
that I'm kind of like a rock and she is like a crystal goblet. A rock you can find anywhere. Crystal goblet costs several denarii. That means days' wages in comparison to a rock.
Mhm.
A rock may be strong, but its worth is only as good as what you do with it. It could be a sling missile. It could be a foundation to a house. It could be many things, a rock. But a crystal goblet serves a purpose that goes past that and is more delicate. So you have to cherish. And at the same time, espouse in it its responsibilities for taking whatever you pour in it to bring to you.
Understandable. Yeah, and understandable. And
So what I'm saying is women, according to a lot of so-called Christians, they act like, oh, you got to listen to us because we say so. No, it don't work that way. You are a slave to her in virtue of your responsibility.
all right.
Your responsibility doesn't make you better. It makes it that you have more responsibility to take care of her. You could be a casing of rock coated in felt to make sure that nothing happens to her.
Mhm.
That's how you treat women. You
And
don't treat them like slaves. They're not slaves. They busted behind doing many things. They're nurses in the house. They're cooks in the house. They administer the finance. They teach the children. They feed the children. They feed the husband. And many multitudes of things that they do in the house. And in some cases, on top of that work.
Yeah.
Men have no place to treat a woman bad. Listen, just because they're women.
Nobody has to treat somebody bad just because of what they are.
Exactly. But my point is, you cherish a woman because of so many
Well,
things that she's a counselor. When
no,
you're upset and you
No.
come home from the office during the day, who do you
cool
talk
on
to?
that. We all cool on that. And when you
No,
say
but
that,
my
which
point
is
is,
good,
who do you talk to? Listen.
I talk to my. I basically don't talk. I basically don't talk to nobody. But to be honest with you,
But Papa, listen, Oye, listen. If you got a good woman and you're going through a rough day and you're able to talk to her like you cannot to your friends on a different level, because you know at the end of the day, she is always going to be there, whether she agrees with you or not. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean she won't have your
if
back.
you have a good partner, that's what it should be. Yes, I
That's
agree.
my point. But
I
here's the
agree.
thing: just because you have a partner, it's not an equal share. A man's supposed to be more responsible than the woman. He's supposed to sit up here and protect her,
Well, we don't
even
even know.
from
We don't even
himself.
know. We don't.
Even from
I
himself.
don't agree with that.
No, I do.
Like,
Even from
I don't-
himself, because a lot of times we say insensitive things and we don't see it.
I don't.
No, it's true.
No, I highly disagree. The
No,
fact
you
that
mean Holly? I'm
men
talking about the good woman.
have
I'm
to
not
be
talking
that
about
women are wait. Well, no, they are just they are moral. They are
Just as moral as
women.
men.
You're saying
Women
the same thing
are
I'm saying by saying that. I'm just saying.
independent agents. They're they have to take responsibility for the stuff that they do.
A multitude of things, and you got one responsibility: protect them and the kids.
Well, if
Two
you're married,
responsibilities that max.
if you're married,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I agree with that.
No, I'm
but
saying,
the
listen,
woman has
if you're married and you're committed, forego religion for a second. Forego religion for a second and just look at it for what it is. You bring the money home. You're stressed because you got maybe a 10, 12-hour workday, including commute. And let's say she don't work because her main responsibility is to take care of the home and take care of the children. Does she have less or more of the burden? Be careful how you answer this.
she has the same burden.
No, she don't. She has more.
Well, she has the same burden from my point
She
of
has
view.
more, dude. Think
From
about
my
it.
point, she has the same
Not
burden.
only is she looking
No.
after herself, not
She's looking
only is
after
she
the
looking
kids
after you,
while you're looking
she's
after
looking
them.
after the kids.
While you're
And she's
providing for
looking after
them.
the finance, and she's looking after the
Whoa,
house.
not in my house. It ain't that way. Not in my
That's
house,
it.
not that
Dude,
way.
you're not married. That's my
And if I
point.
was married, it would not be that way.
Oh, your ass to sit up here and realize this when you go through that. We'll
If I ever get
talk when you
married,
get
if I
married.
ever get
Your
married.
ass gonna get married soon, by the way.
Right now, I'm not seeing nobody, so I don't know how that works. But
Yeah, get married soon. Your ass gonna still get swept.
well, anyway, guys, like I said, we thank y'all for hanging in with us in this for this side chat. We're basically gonna call it here. I saw I didn't get to most of y'all chats. But again, if you guys want to catch us out, remember I will do some of the I will do the second half of that article. So keep an eye out that on that. So and also Tuesdays is also a video that will be dropped on the channel. And again, 9:00. It'll be Project Open Mic next Thursday again. And you know what? Like I said on the last program last night, I'm gonna take it to good. I ain't gonna try to be negative as I explained last night, but I would try to be good and showing some stuff that needs to be talked about. So I'll go to that route. And also, you can check this show back again at 9:00. 9:00 Friday. But with that, let's give the final thoughts to these guys. Trip, anything else you want to say before we go?
I say, this episode we've gone deep.
Yeah, we have. Kanoshi, what about you? Any final words?
Yeah, this has been an interesting episode. Interesting conversation.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And Quan, any final thoughts that you have?
Simple. I love my wife. She goes to bed with me, and I'm gonna be all right by morning.
All right. Well, for me, basically, again, hey, you guys as usual, it's getting cold out there. For those who have to protect themselves and be out in the cold, so stay warm. Have a good weekend. Protect your family. If you're going through again with the virus, like I always say, protect yourself. Don't go around people. Just be as careful as you can. And evil comes in all shapes, sizes, race, color, creeds, religion, anything. Evil's evil. And people are stupid, individuals smart. So be that smart individual. This is your boy, Take from Project Open, and a side chat. Wish you all a good time. And again, remember, 9 o'clock Eastern American time for Project Open on Thursday. 9 o'clock Eastern, same time for side chat on Fridays. Have a good night. Peace out. Catch you later.
Stay
Deuces.
safe.